Good afternoon. One Nation leader, Pauline Hanson, has delivered a fiery maiden speech at the National Press Club that was almost upstaged by a protest plot inside. Live to our political reporter, Jasmine Turlings. Hello, Jazz. This address had it all, but few policy announcements.
Yes, good afternoon. And the Queensland Senators started off with a bang, telling the room not to expect a, quote, divisive welcome to country. But it was this protest banner that unfurled behind her that almost stole the show. It was hastily taken down by event organisers. Lobby group GetUp has been quick to claim responsibility, releasing this statement. It was us. Pauline Hanson has built her entire brand on being for the battlers, but her record tells a different story. We thought the occasion deserved some honesty, so we provided it. It was a blip in an otherwise explosive debut address. The senator took aim at what she claims is a failed policy of multiculturalism, called net zero a hoax, and labelled transgender ideas an insurgency. Here's a little snippet of that 50-minute address.
Don't expect a divisive welcome to country from me. This beautiful country belongs to all Australians born here and those who have come to join us. We cannot be a multicultural society. We are a multiracial society, but we must be monocultural. Transgender ideology has penetrated almost every regulatory authority.
Now, the One Nation leader even took aim at the media on its own turf, pledging to scrap the SBS and restructure the ABC into a subscription service for the major cities. Anne.
Jasmine Turlings reporting from Canberra. Thank you, Jazz. Carl Sandilands has spent the day bunkered down in his eastern suburbs home after getting a $12 million payday to settle his court case with Kiss FM. Under the deal, the shock jock is barred from working for rival stations until next year, but is free to launch a rumoured new podcast. Paul Caddick is in Vaucluse.
Good afternoon. Confirmation of the multi-million-dollar deal coming from Carl Sandilands' ex-employer, radio network ARN. The owners of Kiss FM saying it has settled the lawsuit brought by its former star, agreeing to pay Sandilands $12 million in instalments over 3 years. Now, this is a fraction of the $85 million Sandilands was seeking in court, taking legal action after his $100 million contract was cancelled in the wake of an on-air blow-up in February with co-host Jackie O. Henderson that ended their partnership and the Kyle and Jackie O show.
I don't think there was surprise that he settled. I think there was probably a bit of surprise he settled for as low as he did.
Now, recently, Carl Sandilands has teased a new audio streaming venture, and as part of this settlement, ARN says it will give $1.5 million in advertising to it on its platforms, while ARN will get a 20% revenue share from Carl's new venture for up to 3 years. However, the company says Kyle won't be appearing on any ARN stations, and he's prevented from working for any of its rivals for 9 months.
I don't believe he wants to do that anyway, and I don't believe there is a radio network offering him a job at the moment because he is considered to be highly problematic.
While Sandilands' case has settled, the legal action brought by Jackie Henderson continues for now. She's seeking $82 million from ARN. That case set to return to court tomorrow.
In breaking news, there's been a shocking crash in Sydney's southwest. A number of vehicles have crashed on the Cumberland Highway at Cabramatta, closing all southbound lanes. These pictures are just in from the 7 News chopper. Drivers are urged to avoid the area while emergency crews treat the injured. The FBI says they've foiled a plan to attack the White House during last week's UFC event on the South Lawn. 23 people are alleged to have planned the attack that would have involved using explosive-laden drones to hit buildings near the event, triggering a mass evacuation. Then, snipers planned to shoot at the fleeing crowd before storming the White House gates. At least 5 people have been charged, one of them a teenager. The attack was only thwarted because his concerned mother called police. We'll have more details later this hour. Another 2 men have been charged over the alleged kidnapping and murder of an 85-year-old Sydney grandfather earlier this year. Chris Bagsarian was taken from his North Ryde home in February in a case of mistaken identity. 4 men have already been charged. Now, 19-year-old Brendan Gorman from Shalvey and 21-year-old Cody Fuller from Silverwater have joined them behind bars.
Those 2 males, we will allege, were directly involved in the detaining of Mr Bagsarian at a premises in Dural. It was during this time that we allege Mr Bagsarian died. We'll further allege that these 2 males were involved in the later disposal of his body. We believe there are a number of other persons involved in various ways in the disappearance of Mr Bagsarian and his ultimate murder. Our investigations will not stop until each and every one of them has been apprehended.
The US President has taken a swipe at one of his closest allies during the G7 summit. Flight to Isabel Mullen in Evian in France. Isabel, Donald Trump has slammed the Israeli attacks on Lebanon.
He certainly has, Anne. Good afternoon. The US President taking aim at his wartime ally Benjamin Netanyahu, saying that Israel would be nothing without him and expressing frustration with the way that Israel has conducted itself with regards to Lebanon. Tough talk from the US President at this G7 Leaders Summit here in France as he sits down and comes face to face with the leaders from those Gulf nations that have really been impacted by Iran's retaliation. So we heard Donald Trump heap praise on them, praise that they returned. The US President stressing to reporters that he will actually be reading out the deal word for word, that 1.5-page deal, when it is signed in Switzerland on Friday. Let's hear now from Donald Trump.
Now, I'm not happy with the way Israel has handled themselves with Lebanon and with Hezbollah. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody.
Now, despite the tough talk, it wasn't all smooth sailing for Donald Trump, who appeared to get confused after that G7 family photo, walking the wrong way before Emmanuel Macron, the French president, pointed him in the right direction. We've really seen France roll out the red carpet for the US president. Emmanuel Macron will be wining and dining Donald Trump at the Palace of Versailles later tonight. We know that this is an important time. These negotiations are critical, and Donald Trump likes nice things. Anne.
Isabel Mullen reporting. Thank you, Izzy.